Now this water has finally settled down, and it's getting back to like it was before we had that big flash rain. So now I can go back and follow some of these ditches, and I'll find these places where I'll find these natural pinch points, and I'll show you here in a minute what I'm talking about. But you may have to put in some extra walking, but you got two choices. You can either find these natural spots, or you can try to fence off a place in these creeks, but it's a lot easier when that water is down. If you put in the work and do a little extra walking, you can find these kind of spots that I'm talking about here. Let me show you what I'm saying. These are the type of places I can drop a 330 conibear in there. I can catch coon, beaver, and otter. And there's another place over here. There's actually three places on this ditch as it narrows down and comes out of this swamp. Plus there's a big den tree right there as well. But these are the kind of places that you can get an advantage and narrow them down to a smaller runway. It's a perfect spot. Beaver otter location here. It's been several years since I've trapped back in here, but we just got a big rain and it filled this lake up pretty good. And I see where they're cutting these buckbrush, all this buckbrush back in here. It looks pretty fresh, so I think I should be able to come in here with some snares and pick up some beaver in here pretty easy. I'm gonna walk through here now and show you some of these places where they're cutting on this buckbrush. It's a lot of beat down deer trails in here too. They're probably coming out here at night and getting water, munching on this grass. I'll work my way around the edge of this lake, but this little channel coming off this lake here ought to be a perfect place for me to drop a few snares in. A little bit bigger beaver than I thought. I came past those first two snares and I could see where both of them had been knocked over. They'd been pulled all the way down. Something was moving down through here. I don't know if a coyote ran through there, or a deer, or otter, or maybe it was just beaver. Could have been something else, but it was kind of dark still when I came down this ditch. I thought surely the one foothold I had in this ditch was going to be the one that hit, but I made a loop around this snare. This was the last snare, third snare, and I made a loop around it and went on down to the foothold because that's the furthest one out towards the lake. And I got out there and checked it, nothing on it. But when I went past the snare, I heard something over here. I thought maybe it was some birds up in these bushes, or I jumped a deer or something. Apparently, this is what I heard. So when I made my way back towards the truck, I could see when I came down this creek, I had this beaver in this snare right here. First catch of the year, a little bit better than last year. I started out with a small possum last year, so we're starting out a little bit better. It's just getting going here. First catch of the year, so gotta gear up and prepare for what lies ahead. So I got some skinning to do now. this old lodge. When this lake was up a little bit higher, there's still a little bit of water down there. I noticed another bank den, but there's a chance that maybe an otter or a coon or something will be still using back in here, but it's a long way to that main lake out there. There's a couple little connector ditches that still have water. I'm seeing a lot of coon tracks, but this thing is really grown up. We had that drought 2 years ago, and it's gotten real thick back in here now that they've grown this lake down. Create a lot of good habitat for rabbits. Should be a lot of coyote and gray fox, maybe bobcat back in here. But we'll continue on scouting. A little less water. Every time I come back here, this creek's getting a little bit lower. We haven't had any big rains lately, just kind of cloudy and warm right now. Seeing a lot of coon sign back in here though. Looks like the beavers are laying low. They hadn't been very active in the last few days. We got cold weather coming in this weekend, but I think it'd be wise for me to cover some of these spots with some footholds and try to pick up a few of these coon while I'm back here. Plus, I'm a little bit curious about some of these little holes in the bank. It may be some mink back here too. There's something working up down this creek right here. These two bodies of water are separated by kind of a dry stretch of creek bed. On this end, it looks like something's working down through here, making these air bubbles. On the other end, there's a lot of peel sticks close to those bank dens. But the beavers are laying low right now. Need to get some footholds out, try to pick up a few of these coon, wait on that cold front, and maybe I can snag a few more of those beavers. And I'll probably move on to some different locations, maybe within the next 6 days. Give us a little bit longer, see what happens. There's so many logs out here and roots. I got several snares out up and down this ditch, and everything looks like an otter or a beaver. Every root, every log from a distance, you're thinking you got a catch. And I ran my whole circuit right down to the last snare here, and I couldn't see I had anything from the other side of this creek, but when I looped around, it looked like something had pulled this snare loose. So we're gonna go down here and see what we got. Got a small coon here. Tied off on these roots right here, and it looked like a pullout where these beavers been coming up getting that grass, going back and packing their lodges. But I'm going to get this coon out of here. He's tangled up in these roots pretty bad. little bit bigger coon than I thought. After the otter and the beaver, but I had one foothold set out. Nothing came near it. It didn't look like. And I figured I'd get this coon in that foothold, but they'll go up and down these trails just like these beaver and otter will. So I need to keep this snare working. It's the only one that connected for me today. I had one other one in the woods over at near the lake, and it looked like something had bumped that snare. It could have been anything. Could have been a bobcat, coyote, or fox came through there, or deer. But that was only action today. This one coon and that one snare got bumped. But hey, this fur, I'll take it. Early in the year, and I'm just trying to stack some fur. Let's see what we can come up with next. This is probably going to be supper tonight, so I'm not complaining just because it wasn't an otter or a beaver. Pretty good size little coon for around here. I'll remake this snare and get back on out of here.